Okay, hey guys, Dan Fitzpatrick here, stockmarketmentor.com. Don't forget, we're closed for business on Tuesday, or excuse me, on Monday, not Tuesday. I want to look at a couple of things here. First of all, the RSP. This is the S&P 500 equal weight ETF, as opposed to this. This is the S&P 500 weighted like ETF. In other words, all the big dogs that are, dying on the porch are in this one. But the thing to remember is this. So this is still chopping around. It's really not doing anything. Whereas the overall market, the overall S&P, these 500 stocks, when they're all equally weighted, is doing just fine. So this is in a solid uptrend. This is the reason I'm pointing this out. These big, massive mega cappers, the Magnificent Seven, as I call them, they're really, really dragging this market down. Alphabet, you don't want to be anywhere near this. Sorry. Apple, no, thank you. I'll let that apple fall from the tree, however long it falls, but I ain't going to go pick it up. Meta, nope, no thanks. Nvidia, no thanks. Tesla, no thanks. Microsoft, no thanks. Amazon, no thanks. So these are all the stocks that are absolutely crushing the S&P. By the way, a lot of these are also in the Dow, and yet the Dow's doing just fine. So the thing that I want to mention to you is just that we're in this kind of wonderful situation where certain stocks are working really, really well, but a lot of them aren't. And what it's doing is it's giving us kind of a cloudy picture. It's a little bit hazy. And you can see it in the news headlines where really smart people are still kind of scratching their heads going like, well, nobody really knows what's going on. Like what's going on with AI? Is software deadware, or is this overdone? Or, what's up with this? There's just so many different questions that people are asking. Again, very smart people are asking. So it's not like there's just like all the smart guys know what's going on, but us knuckleheads don't know anything. No, like this is all really kind of tough stuff here. But what you want to be doing is just stick with the trades that are working. I'll just look you in the eye. You want to be sticking with the trades that are actually working. Don't be sitting on trades that you think might be working. If they're not working now, then they're not going to work. You can always buy them back later when they do. But I think a real tough thing for some people to get in their head is that cash can be a position. And if you don't have your money in stocks that are working right now, then maybe you shouldn't be owning those stocks, because when the money's in the market, it's kind of hard to move it from one place to another. But when you've got the money in your pocket, then it's real easy to find better stocks, good trades, great trades when they show up, not when you try to imagine them. Okay. So just remember, hope, not a really good trading strategy. It's a common one. It's a popular one, but it's not a good trading strategy. And one other thing, don't sit here and anticipate moves. React, respond. Don't anticipate, because if you're anticipating, now you're predicting, you're prognosticating. And the market is kind of like unprognosticatable. You can't do it. Okay. There's my word of the day for you. I'll see you guys on Tuesday.